Hey, Tony guys is here. Now they having the P. Diddy trial, and you know one thing about this is to every man, especially if you know a man who you think might be in some funny business, start you a little fake email and email this video to him. Listen to me, fellas, y'all better get it together. Let P. Diddy be a warning. Get it together. It don't matter if you messing with somebody locally. Don't matter if you ain't got social media. You ain't got no following. You ain't no celebrity. What's done in the dark will come to the light. If you cheating on your wife, your girlfriend, whatever you doing, what's done in the dark will come to the light. So you better get it together, because the thing about it is men always feel invincible, and you don't realize that you are not God. You are not invincible. We live under universal laws that God has put in place, and one of those laws is what's done in the dark comes to the light. And what that truly means is that it's not about your ignorance and your mistakes being exposed. That's not what's done. What's done is what you are deliberately doing that you know is wrong. And now, just like the saying says in the law world, that ignorance does not absolve you from the law. Oh, wow. Family lost their whole front tire off their truck, and then everybody rubbernecking, so it's about to cause another wreck. Ignorance doesn't absolve you from the law. So what that means is you can't read, but you get a driver license, you going 100 miles an hour, you get stopped by the police not gonna say, hey, I'm gonna let you go because you can't read. So you didn't know that sign said that speed limit is 70 miles an hour, so that's why you was going 90. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. Nope, you still gonna get a ticket. Keep doing it, license gonna get suspended. Ignorance doesn't absolve you from the law. Now, in the case of P. Diddy, I don't believe that, now he could be in there and have done nothing wrong. I don't believe he will be in that level of mess having done absolutely nothing wrong. I believe that our justice system and the legal system is a little better than that. It's not the best. My uncle is doing 30 years for $20 worth of drugs that he sold, realistically. So it's not the best, but I do believe it's better than to have a completely innocent, not by billionaire, in jail with all the allegations that's against him. So did he do the stuff they saying he did? I believe that it's a strong possibility he did. Do I believe he finna go down and do the rest of his life in prison? I don't believe that. I believe he got a little more clout and pull than R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. Because see, when P. Diddy got taken down, meaning got taken to jail, he still was almost on top. Yeah, money was getting a little tight, but he still was pretty much on top. Whereas with Bill Cosby, I just seen that Bill Cosby got to sell his $7 million house or something like that. $7 million New York City condo or something because of back mortgage or rent or whatever it is being due and him not being able to pay it. I'm guessing he don't get royalties or whatever anymore. I don't know what kind of money, how he was making money when he was out, but so that goes to show you, and that's what a lot of people don't realize too. Let that be another lesson, is like you could be on today and off tomorrow. And a lot of times people think that, oh, just because you got X amount of dollars that you never could go broke. But Bill Cosby gets sat down for I don't know what it's been, a couple of years or however long, and now he's broke. And so it's like, just like that, somebody who's multi-millionaire now is broke. And the same thing with Diddy. If Diddy gets sat down for 5-10 years, it's a possibility he could go broke. Because if all his deals get cut off and all the contracts he was in, they get out of the contract because they had a conduct policy in there, then all that money that would be going to Diddy bank account, going to his estate, no longer there. And like they were saying, they when he was trying to get bail, he put up a $40-some million house as collateral. They still didn't approve his bail. So they really feel like that he could be guilty. And now here's the thing. We don't know P did it like that, but you'd never know if somebody in power tipped all this off or got this here going, because sometimes people might be not saying something or protecting you, and then if you fall out with them, the bottom fall out. So you don't really know what was the domino that started this fall. But what I want men and women to do is don't just look at celebrity news that we have to endure, that we gotta see, that we gotta look at, and just be like, oh, that's celebrity junk, that's celebrity news. No, that's real life, because you in your own life could be doing something that you need to stop doing, that you thinking that you could keep doing and get away with. And so, and the reason why I bring these kind of messages is because these messages also hold me accountable. So that's why I'm not in no foolishness, because I know that foolishness eventually catch up with you. So you got to realize that. And it's not gonna be able to be hid forever. So if P Diddy have to do 10, 20, 30 years, I'm gonna be shocked. If he don't have to do at least 10 years, I will lose faith in the justice system, and I will start to more fervently believe in the Illuminati, believe that stuff exists. Because if my uncle doing 30 years, it's a 40 year, but 10 of the years is running together, so it's come out to 30 years. He got to do 27. He done about 17 or 18 of them. I read the transcripts from the court. He literally sold $10 worth of marijuana, $10 worth of cocaine to an undercover agent, and then he took it to trial instead of accepting the year and the day. So the way the law is written, when you go to trial, you could get the max allowable time. So having a cocaine charge and a marijuana charge, and the cocaine, it was being tacked very heavily in the court system because of what it did in the 80s or whenever it started. So even though it was just $10 worth, it came with, like, both charges they gave him came with 10 years each. And then with the marijuana, both charges they gave him came with, I think, 5 years each or something like that. And so it was because they had him a charge like for having it, and another charge for like selling it or intent to sell or something like that. And so, and here you got a man that was 46 years old when he got arrested. No priors. My uncle had never been to prison. He had been to jail for like ticket or something like that, or dumping trash. You know how you spend a night or whatever. Illegal dumping of trash and driving without a license. So they'll take you to jail driving without a license, and then you get out or whatever, got to do community service. So those was his priors. No prison time. He was not a kingpin, because trust me, if he was a kingpin, that would have been my upline when I was in the streets, and I would have had me a lot of money. I wouldn't have had to go to the streets. If he was not a drug dealer. He was a local mechanic. So imagine this now. If he get 40 years for $20 worth of drugs, what kind of time P. Diddy supposed to get for going to trial? Because he didn't accept the plea deal out the gate. Now he might accept the plea deal. I don't know how that's gonna work, but so he really supposed to get the book thrown out. And so we're gonna see how they handle this here, because also it just depends on, and what I'm praying don't happen is a Jeffrey Epstein situation, to where they try to get rid of him because he had certain names on that. Because he had certain names. Uh-oh. Is this why TD Jakes stepping down? Because this trial starting today? Trial started yesterday. I think the jury selection. Now that's very, hold on now. Because you know, in that trial, every name get released. You go through all of it. So, and I was just listening to the news, and they said with the jurors, they went through some names of celebrities to see if they had any bias. The name that I heard them say was Michael B. Jordan. But they said they don't know if those names meant anything, like they are part of the case, or they just was saying celebrity names to see if the jurors had any bias. So they could have said like a name of someone that would have been seen in a picture with Diddy or something, to see if you really like Michael B. Jordan, and that's like you a super fan, and he was friends with Diddy, then you might be light on Diddy because you love Michael B. Jordan and he was friends with Diddy. So they was going through them names. Now they said like 3 names it was on NBC News. I can't remember the other 2 because I just was listening to one I heard, and I know they said Michael B. Jordan. But now here's the thing: they was talking about TD Jakes being at P. Diddy parties, and now TD Jakes done stepped down. So I'm wondering if they thinking for damage control that his name might show up, and whatever he could have done might come out, and then all of a sudden, you know, I seen TD Jakes that was looking very like healthy and strong, and I mean, remember when they showed the video from like, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, when he was on the stage dancing, and he was up there dancing, and he had a little shirt on, and you know, and then he started dressing really young. He's wearing practically like skinny jeans almost, and just dressing young. And then now on the passing of the torch video, his hand and stuff, he was looking a little emaciated. So I'm like, I don't know if it's stress or something, or just, you know, or after, I'm guessing it was a stroke or whatever he had in the pulpit. Don't know what that was, and why, of all places, where you have the stroke in the pulpit. But at the same time, he had been seen at a P. Diddy party. And that's the thing of like, where we have to get serious as men and women of God, because it's certain things, and I think about this. You know, I think about like, okay, if somebody is blaspheming God, or if somebody's not living for God, you know, at what point, how do we decide whether we help or whether we keep our distance? And it's tough. So, and here's the thing, I have been used by people who didn't have good intentions. They will say I'm their life coach. Celebrities, they will say I'm their life coach. And so that because my brand is so clean, they would say, oh, my life coach is Tony Gaskins, because their brand was so messy. And so it was like reality stars did that. A few different women, music artists did that. They would let it be known. One time a stripper did that. One of the top American strippers. They would let it be known on Twitter, because I was the #1 black man on Twitter when it came to motivation. It was me and Rev Run, and then Tyrese somehow got in there, and then Rev Run and Tyrese teamed up and did a book. My name was so big on Twitter, and my tweets were so viral. They teamed up and did a book, and it was us three. Ironically, I don't know how Tyrese got in there, but they ranked. They ranked us, and I was the #1 like motivator, author, life coach on Twitter. Out of all the top 100 black men on Twitter, they had LeBron James at #1. It was on like retweetability. Behind me, I was number 25, but on that list, I was the only life coach. And I was number 25 out of 100. So top 25, and they pushed me down because I wasn't a real celebrity. It just my tweets was viral. And behind me, number 26, I never forget, was Lil Duval, because we both from Florida, and he was my favorite comedian at the time, or one of them. And so I'd never forget that, because he was he'll tweet all day. He was so vocal online, and he thought he was like a Twitter savant. He just thought he was a social media expert. And I knew him at the time, and me being able to rub in his face that the blackweb2.0.com had ranked me higher than him as, Twitter power. And boy, that was a good old feeling. And I can't remember, it could have been Snoop Dogg in front of me or something at 24. But my wife put it on she printed it out and put it on a plaque. It's at my house or somewhere. I don't know. I might have thrown it away. I don't know. But I say that to say, this was that time to where Twitter was the thing back then. It was like 2010 or something. 2011, I don't know, 2012. And so this was a situation where we sitting here, and these celebrities started using my name to say, oh, Tony Gaskins is my life coach. Tony Gaskins is my life coach. And I remember, like I say, me and Tyrese, we was like, he always was known for a bunch of typos, misspelling stuff. But he invited me to his house. I remember going to his house, sitting in the studio while he was making music. And I was able to meet celebrities, Missy Elliott became like a mentor for my mentors who was music artists. She taught to two of my mentees. One was my best friend that I grew up with, and another one was a mentee I met on social media. She got on the phone with them, the legend Missy Elliott, for me. And Alicia Keys, she started following me on Twitter. So I'm painting this picture so because some of y'all met me on YouTube and you don't realize that I didn't start doing YouTube seriously till 2019. I've been on since 2010. And so, but some of y'all don't know that, because I come on here and I don't have one of those pre-video things that come up with all your pictures, my picture with Oprah and speaking around the world with the music. I don't have one of those intro things. I just come on here humbly while I'm driving with one knee, holding the phone, going to pick up my nieces and my niece boyfriend from the cruise that me and my wife paid for them to go on, and that I'm upset because I gave each one of them $300 a piece, and then they still had me have to send them another $580 last night because they overspent on the cruise ship. And so they were using my name, the celebrities using my name to try to clean up their brand. I remember one lady on a reality show literally sent me a DM. We had a conversation. She said, I know you coach such and such, another celebrity reality TV person. I would like to do coaching with you. I said, okay, we could do that. The next day, an article came out. Such and such hires Tony Gaskins, celebrity life coach Tony Gaskins, who's also known for coaching this person and this person and this person, hires Tony Gaskins as their life coach. Me and this lady never had a coaching session. This lady never paid me a dime, and I never heard from that lady again. She literally just used my name because I was the #1 life coach in the world. They was using my name, not Iyanla. They weren't using Iyanla name. Iyanla wasn't on yet. She wasn't on yet. Like she wasn't known on that level. She later got a show on with Oprah. And then they started using Iyanla. But Iyanla still wasn't on my level because she didn't live the way I live. You know, she had other situations, other stuff going on. And she's single. And so she didn't have the same stability, the same balance. She's a talker. She had talk game, but when it comes to thoroughness and looking at the lifestyle and how we live and all of that, I don't smoke. And so so it was like we had differences. And I ain't hating, just telling the truth. Just telling the truth. A lot of people don't want to hear the truth. They call the truth hating. And so this what P. Diddy did. So now I'm being more cautious of this. Because like even right now, I got some business that's on the table with a company that's started by somebody who I feel in the past certain things they said have been blasphemous. Now the business is not for me, the business is for my athletes, but yet they may want to do a deal with me or with my program. And so I have to process that, and then I have to see like, okay, do I do this for my athletes? Regardless of how I feel about the founder, even though the founder is not hands-on. And so you got to process these things. And when it get to that time to where when you distant, you could say, I would never. But then when it get in your face, it's a different thing. And so that's a strategy. That's a law of power a lot of times, to where if you talking about somebody and you got a voice, they'll come and follow you, or they'll send you a message, because they know it's easy for you to talk about them and their celebrity and who they are if you don't know them. And that has happened to me several times, to where I mention something about a celebrity and it get brought up to them because of the weight of my name and my opinion, and the next day they follow me. Or they write me, hey, how you doing? I want to do coaching. And so that's a silencing tactic. And so that's why y'all have to realize, that's why I tell y'all, it's no friends for me in the industry, because I have to speak on everything. Like P. Diddy used to quote me. He used to tweet my quotes. P. Diddy, that we talking about. And he just wouldn't at me because I think he went at me because he didn't want to blow me up, and he didn't want his women to find my message. So he would use my quotes. So whoever was running his page would use my quotes, but at the end of it, they would put TG. They wouldn't put at Tony Jackson. They would just put TG. And so, and then Rev Run page, whoever run his page, used to use my quotes without my name until I called them out, and then they added me, and then I never seen them use a quote again from after I called them out. And so the same thing happened. Like, I became the #1 relationship coach in the world, and Deion Sanders started following me on Twitter, and he connected with me. He reached out to me, and we have talked. I have literally been on a FaceTime with Deion Sanders. A lot of people don't realize that, because I speak on his relationship situation with Tracy Edmonds, because I speak on stuff, people will think, oh, Tony must don't know that person. No, I know Jesus Christ. And if there's a lesson to be taught, and if somebody not doing something the way they should be doing it, and they're in the public eye, and they are an example for young black men and for young black women, and their example is misleading, or it's sending the wrong message, I'm gonna speak on it. And it don't matter if I talked to you yesterday. Just like me and Caleb have a podcast. And see, that's the thing is, we have to choose an alliance with God, not alliance with man. And that's where a lot of these people that's getting knocked off, that's where they going wrong. They playing with the name of God. They saying the name of God, but they not living for God. And that's where they going wrong. And so, and you're going to always go wrong if you play those kind of games. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So after, you know, getting invited to speak at Jackson State when they was about to play in Miami, and I didn't go down there to speak to the team, I couldn't make it. So even after being, you know, invited to be able to speak to the team by Deion Sanders himself, and, you know, and then we had a FaceTime, I still had to speak on his situation. Even after being tweeted by P. Diddy, being posted on Instagram by P. Diddy's son, I still had to speak on the situation. Even having been the life coach for Ocho Cinco, which I could say because it's public. He said my name on Larry King Live. When Larry King left CNN and did start doing his own podcast, Ocho said my name on there, that I'm his life coach. And me still being able to reach out to Ocho and have his phone number, I still have to speak on Shannon Sharpe. Even though they partners, they business partners. Like for me, I do the work of the Lord. If I have to speak out against my father, my wife, my best friend, my son, myself, I won't even take sympathy on myself. I won't even take grace on myself. If I take a stupid pill, I'm going to come and teach a lesson from it. I'm going to talk about it. And so that's why I want y'all to understand that it's real out here now. And so we about to see some stuff. And with this P. Diddy case, we finna see, is the Illuminati real? Like, is money what matters the most? Because never in the history is they gonna have this much testimony and evidence against a black man and he get off easy. So if he get off easy, we know something going on. Something is going on. Somebody did something. Because even if it's a lie, we don't get off. We get put in prison for lies. And then got to get $2 million 30 years later when they finally let us out and talk about, oh, they made a mistake. And give us $2 million or 500,000. Like, okay. All right. You finna tell me 30 years later you made a mistake? And so think about that. I'm coming down here, pick up my two nieces and my oldest niece boyfriend from the port. Went on a cruise. And see, I gotta go 0.7 miles, but it's 9 minutes away. That is interesting. 9 minutes for less than a mile. And so this is what you got to realize, that it's real out here now. And so I want y'all to understand that a lot of y'all don't realize, like, no, this is not a gossip page. This is a teaching page. So I use the lessons, the stuff we got to see in the media, to pull a lesson for everyday people. And that's why I'm trying, because right now, there's a man who have received this video and he's in tears right now. Because he's been sleeping with a 14-year-old. He's been sleeping with a 16-year-old. There's a man that's watching this video right now who is cheating on his wife with a woman from his job, or with a woman from his past, or with a woman from his church. There's a pastor watching this video right now who is in homosexuality, but his congregation and his wife does not know. So this isn't about P. Diddy. This is about you. Get your affairs in order or you're going to be exposed. And I want y'all to understand, I'm at the most 2 degrees of separation from any celebrity in the world. Because I have 3.5 million, what they call followers. I say supporters, even though all of them don't support me. I have 3.5 million followers online. that has shrunk my 6 degrees of separation. What they teach about, they say you 6 degrees of separation if you don't know nobody. Like you personally, with no audience, you are 6 degrees of separation from Barack Obama, from P. Diddy, from whoever. So when you build your network and you build your audience and you have countless celebrities and influencers in your network, it shrinks you from 6 degrees of separation to 1 or 2 degrees of separation. So what y'all have to realize is I have every single person I have to speak on, I have a relationship to that person. I'm speaking on TD Jakes in this video. Sarah Jakes Roberts followed me on Twitter. She might have unfollowed me now, I don't know. She followed me on Twitter and we have talked in the DM. I can't remember if I talked to her in person at the Potter's house. I spoke at MegaFest. See, I want y'all to understand that I'm not your other life coaches on YouTube. I'm actually really 1000% cut different, because it don't matter how I know you. It don't matter if we have Torrey Roberts, me and Torrey Roberts, Sarah Jakes Roberts. I spoke at his church 3 times as a paid speaker. $1,000 is what he used to pay. $1,000. Me and Torrey have sat down and had dinner and lunch numerous times. I spoke at his breakout center, the other little center, like the little arts and culture little building. My wife and I went to Torrey's house when he was married to Lori. So see, a lot of people don't realize. See, I'm telling y'all this now so that you understand. Every video that you watch going forward, I'm not some hater on the outside looking in with no reference, with no knowledge of what I'm talking about, no understanding of what I'm talking about, and just no, I'm tied in. I'm tied in. I know the business. I know the truth. Everything I know, I can't say, because everything I know will be entirely too damaging. It'll be checkmate. It'll be over with. It'll be done. It won't be no, oh, is Tony possibly right? It could be, oh, Tony could be making millions if he wanted to do a blog like some of these other bloggers, a gossip blog. Yeah, I could be making millions telling what I know for a fact, not what I was emailed, telling what I know for a absolute fact. You know what I'm telling you? So, hey, but I got to go here to get my niece now. Love you. God bless you. I'm talking about love you. I'm thinking about my niece. Hey, we'll talk soon. All the important links in the description. All the important links in the description. God bless you.